Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Tonight, we'd like to talk about the Zimbabwe electorate and how gullible we are and how we've managed to be hoodwinked, cheated by the ruling elite. I'd like to start that discussion by playing a video clip of a Zanu PF crook, for a lack of a better word. Once again, talking about the ordinary people and how they are suffering. I'd like you to listen to this.
Wasting a lot of resources, but as we speak, some civil servants have not been paid. Kune vanhu vari kufa nenzara, but vanhu vane luxury yekushamisira vachiratidza kuti vane dzimai. Vanhu vane luxury yekuti vakatengerwa dzimba vanoramba. Povo ichisafa, isu hatina kusafira vanhu vane zvinzvimbo. Takasafira povo ndio yaishupwa nevarungu. Povo yakashupwa nevarungu ndio yakushupwa nesu nasi. We are saying no to that. Yes. Paying lip service to the fight against the corruption. Corrupt people are known. Vanhu vari kuita corruption vanozikanwa, vari kutobigiwa kwazvo, kutokudzwa kuti uyu ndiye anogona uwoyu. Someone is rewarded for that. Tinozviziva zvese, tinoziva nyaya yemaland barons. Vamwe zvino vari kunzi ngavadzoke kumusangano nemhaka yekuti vane mastenzi avari kutengesa. Vanhu havasina vanovafanda. Vari kuda kufandwa nemari iri kubviswa povo day and night. Ichiti mastenzi achitwa resell. Mastenzi evarungu vakakurukiwa. Tiri kuzviziva zvese. Tiri kuti nguva yakwana yekuti titaure. Hatina munhu anotipa authority. Hatina munhu akatiudza kuti ndai kuhondo oro hondo yacho yakuonekwa sekupenga nasi.
Well, I can stop it right there. Welcome to you, Benjamin.
Hi, good day to you. Thank you for having me on the program, and to our viewers, thank you for joining us.
Well, this video clip, as you can see there, that was Victor Matemadanda, and sitting next to him is Chris Musangwa. So this was just a few months before the 2017 military coup. And people believed, Victor Matemadanda, that they are back to fighting for povo, for the ordinary people. But now, 6 years later, I think we can safely say that did not happen. How long are we going to continue with this cycle, Benjamin?
I don't think it's going to end anytime soon until we decide as a people that, you know, enough is enough. I think we have had enough from what these guys have to say or whatever they are selling. I think, you know, we should realize that by now that, you know, the only time these guys will be on our side is when things are not going well for them. Once things have turned out to be okay and they are also on the gravy train seat, they will not be bothered. I mean, his story is something that was going on. You know, it's a true event. There was and there's still land barons that are preying on innocent people, that are trying to create wealth for themselves, build a house for yourself, or build houses so that you can try and make a livelihood out of it. But then now, as we know, Zanu PF has gone around now and is taking that land forcibly from somebody that has paid their hard earned money, or sometimes to an extent of pushing down the walls. It's something that is happening, and he was right to say, he acknowledges that problem. But then what did he do once he got onto the gravy train seat? And we know that they obviously is another story. He is not worried, because he doesn't want to rock the boat. He doesn't want to miss out on the train himself. So it's now up to us. I think sometimes, we are a big letdown. We are gullible, like you said in the introduction, and we are naive.
Yeah, I think the tragedy here is that how easily these politicians have hoodwinked the masses again and again and again. Because here, Chris Mutsangwa and his war veterans there were the ones who are turning around and saying, oh, the people are still oppressed. We fought the war of liberation so that the people can be free and they can also have the right to have a meaningful say. And this was 34 years later. And as to now, 43 years later, we still do not have free, fair, and credible elections. And these people still claim that they are fighting on the side of the masses. So it took them 43 years for them to realize that the freedom, basic human rights, liberty, and justice they went to war for have not been fulfilled. Typical. Like you correctly say, these people, they only fight to be on the gravy train. Once they are on it, they become the oppressor. And so the cycle continues. It's only when they've been kicked off the top table that suddenly they start talking about, we are fighting for the masses. And the masses are so gullible. They believe it time and time again. And this is not only coming from the ruling party, Zanu PF, Benjamin. This is also coming from the opposition.
Yes, that's very true. I mean, I fail to understand, why we just cannot think for ourselves, why we cannot reason, why we cannot, put emotion aside and look at the facts. How easy I think Zimbabweans are easy just to persuade. It doesn't take much, really, and my biggest worry is, as Zanu PF continues to consolidate power around itself, the tighter they are going to squeeze us. This is one thing that we need to realize. And the problem now is, if we do not realize this, we are going to be subjected to more and more and more torture. We are going to end up losing the little rights that we have. Right now they are coming into your house and they are destroying your homes. After they are the ones that came through and sold you the land. Just like what he is saying, Victor is not wrong. During that time, he was also being oppressed. But once he got onto the gravy train seat, everything turned to be okay. He doesn't see anything wrong right now. It is us now, that was sold a lie, that need to stop listening to some of these lies. until we do that, we are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I think the other point that must be emphasized here is that it's only Zanu PF who are giving empty promises that they never fulfill. The last 23 years, the people of Zimbabwe have voted the opposition, MDC/CCC, with the primary purpose of the opposition was to implement the democratic reforms and stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. They've not implemented even one meaningful reform. Not only that, they've been participating in flawed elections to give Zanu PF legitimacy. People have got to wake up to the reality that when Chamisa was saying, I have plugged all the vote rigging loopholes, he was lying. Even now, with the benefit of hindsight, how anyone can fail to see the truth behind that lie beggars belief. As long as the people themselves do not learn from the past, these people will continue to exploit the situation and keep themselves in power. Zimbabwe is a failed state because for the last 43 years, the country has been stuck with a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical Zanu PF regime. These individuals like Matemadanda will come and say, oh, no, this is not working and we're going to change it. The most important question you should ask yourself there is, why is it that people like Matemadanda now sees it as necessary for him to fight for povo again? The idea was to give povo, the ordinary people, the power to fight their own corner, to have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. That is at the heart of the issues we are talking about here. And I think it is a pity that people have failed to realize that. And even those politicians themselves are exploiting that and playing with the people on that basis, where they are pretending that they have got the solution. The reality is the people themselves should have that power. And as long as that power is denied by both the ruling party, Zanu PF, and now the opposition, this cycle will continue. And it is up to the people to realize that they must have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. That is at the heart, the very essence of good governance. I don't know how one can overemphasize that point. Without free, fair, and credible election, I really don't see how the country is ever going to change. We'll always be going round and round in circles. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Do you want to give your closing remark?
Thank you. I think you touched, most of the parts that I think were very relevant to say. We have got a very corrupt government that is there, and we have also a very greedy opposition to top it up. And then worst is us as individuals, as Zimbabweans. We are so gullible and naive. We are failing to think for ourselves. I mean, we've made mistakes, and by now we should be learning from them. During Mugabe's, last days, we were once again caught very gullible, thinking that ED was the solution to our problems, and yet we knew his character. We knew the definition of what he stands for or what justice is, and now we were promised by the opposition that, like you said, rightfully said, we are going to win big, and nothing of that day materialized, and here we are again, hopping on to the next, blue bus. Let's go on the blue bus. Where are we going? We don't ask. We're just following. For me, I think, it's pretty sad. It's very, very sad.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. I agree with the comment there I've got on the screen, that the opposition is big stakeholders in the land baron debacle. I think it's not just the land baron debacle, but also in the country's collapsed political and economic system. The opposition, when they got into power, failed to implement even one democratic reform because they joined the gravy train. And that is a reality that until the ordinary people realize that this particular opposition we have has failed, I don't think we are ever going to have any meaningful change in Zimbabwe. Thanks again, Benjamin, for your contribution. And for the listeners, we'll meet tomorrow, 6 p.m. again. And until then, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. Cheers. Good night.